Hi everyone, and welcome to this latest episode. Today it's going to be a little bit complicated because we have Blind Dave Heeley on for an interview. So it's going to be Blind Dave interviewing Blind Dave. And hello, Blind Dave.
Well, hello, Blind Dave.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm not too bad, mate. Not too bad. Get rid of this cold and I'll be even better.
I imagine that can be problematic when you're trying to run an insane amount.
Yes. It tends to be, but hey, we've got to crack on and keep up with it, and you know what I mean. So, never mind. We keep breathing hard and blowing hard. And where are you based in, Dave?
I'm down in Portsmouth.
Oh, Portsmouth. Hey, okay.
The internet thinks I'm in Brighton, so your caller ID will also think I'm in Brighton.
But I mean, technology, honestly. I mean, when you asked for a landline, I thought, my God, that's unusual. Everybody's on vanishing mobiles, you know, but we're old-fashioned. We still got the old landline.
Well, I have an app that, because I have a phone number that's specifically for work. It's through a company called Air Landline, and it diverts. It's a landline number, but it diverts to my phone and my laptop and my iPad. But any landline number you call anywhere in the world is free.
Very good. How'd you get that then?
It's you just register with Air Landline. It's £10 a month, but if you call a lot of international, which I do for interviews and things, then it's worth it. And it gives you a separate number that you can give out that still comes through to you, but you can switch off and not have.
No, I mean, I don't make any international calls that often now. When I was doing various bits and pieces, America and all around the place, but nowadays, my usage on mobile phone, I think I just renewed my contract with EA, and I'm sure he was laughing at me when he said, it's only 10 gig. I said, 10 gig? I said, that'll last me all year, and he looked and he went, you don't use a lot, do you? And I went, no. I'm not into technology, no. If I want anything, I've got 3 kids and they can sort it.
Fair enough. I have an office. I'm actually at home today because the internet connection at my office isn't very good. But it's actually an old bank vault. And so I shoot my videos usually down there because it's quite an interesting aesthetic.
But what is it you do as a day job then, Dave?
I write scripts for a YouTuber called Simon Whistler.
Why do I know that name?
He does a lot of YouTube.
Unless it's very similar to somebody else or no, But are you blind, partially sighted?
Yeah, I'm light perception blind. So.
Okay. Yeah. I was many years ago, but all that's gone now. So, but hey ho, it is what it is. You do what you do.
Okay. So yeah, basically what I did. Do you know Sean, don't you? Sean Dilly. Or he knows of you. He's a blind news correspondent for the BBC.
I don't know. Had he used to work for Talk?
Yes, that's it. Yeah.
I think I spoke to Sean. Oh my golly gosh. It's got to be 20 years ago, aren't they? Gotta be. Because, has he got a guide dog?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, Sean, with Talk Sport, when I done my first or second blooming London Marathon. So, blinking blonky. Yeah, that was a few years ago then.
I did an interview with him for the channel. I'm trying to do just sort of blind and visually impaired people who have done interesting things. I've done some cooking videos for the channel. I'm going to do shortly going to a rock climbing centre to do some stuff down there.
Yeah.
I used to do a lot of rock climbing when I was younger. Proper free climbing with, outside rocks. But
yeah.
I have a child now, so I don't want to die. So climbing with ropes is probably safer.
Without a doubt. Yeah, somebody was talking to me. I can't remember the chap's name now. I used to do a lot of talks for a a chappie. What was his name? Sighted. And I think he's climbed Everest a couple of times, or done summits at Everest, and he tried to convince me to climb it. Climbing a brick wall in that respect don't turn me on, you know what I mean? And I thought, no. And he said, are you a coward? I said, I'm not a coward, no. I said, but I don't want to climb a mountain. And I hear that many people are dying, and he said, well, I'll make sure you won't die. I said, you can't guarantee that. And I said, but I ain't interested. It's as simple as, running, yep, cycling, yep, swimming to a degree, yep. But no, it's it's whatever turns you're on, isn't it?
Yeah, that's. I used to play a lot of goalball back in the day. I got to like the national tryouts for one of the Olympics, but I don't have and don't have the discipline. I was a fairly good player, but I never committed to the training regime. I was also a musician and a drinker, so.
Yeah, well, I can fall in line with the musician and the drinker if you piss artist.
Yes.
I can play my face, and that's about it. But I don't mind picking a class up.
When you get to a certain level, as you know, and then you've got to commit to it and put in the effort. And I never did. I injured very easily as well. I've always had bad knees, and goalball. I played until I was. When was the last time I played competitively? It was about 25, and then it was getting to the point where it'd take me 2 weeks to recover from a weekend tournament, and it just wasn't worth it to me, you know.
No, I know exactly where you're coming from. I mean, I've always been, and I suppose maybe like a lot of blind folk do, it's easier to sort of relax back and take a drink and do stuff. You have got to commit it, and I mean when I done the run round the world, I did commit then. I was asked, I went 6 months teetotal, and yeah, it paid dividends. But when I come back, I drink now, but I must admit, I drink in moderation now. I used to be a 7-night and 7 dinner time drinker. A, I don't want to do it. B, I couldn't do it. And C, I couldn't certainly afford it now. But it taught me one thing, so, moderately now, when I want a drink, I'll have a drink, and if I don't want it, then it don't worry me anymore, so...
Yeah, I ran pubs for 3 years, and, I drank every day, heavily, for 3 years. Then the guy who owned the building wanted to closed it down, so we lost the pub. Then about 18 months afterwards, I met my wife, or my now wife. She wasn't like my lost wife or something though. But yeah, I met her, and she doesn't really drink. And I was living in Portsmouth. I moved up to Ellesmere Port, which is, you know where that is. Just outside Liverpool. Yeah. I lived up there for 3 years, and I'd go out and I'd come back down and visit my family, and I'd drink then, and there are a few people I'd go and have a couple of beers out with, but I just kind of got out of the habit.
I think you do, didn't you? I think you do, yeah. I mean, when when was it, 2000, when I first really, I used to run as a kid, never run for 30 plus years, got dragged into the London Marathon scenario, and in all fairness, although I was drinking quite heavy then, doing the running, it did curtail things, and my wife loved it because, I then got into the training in a big way, so I really did cut back on the drinking. So as I said, moderate, I have a few beers, I train, we've done what we've done, and, sort of, me and the missus, all parties are happy. But, it's, it is what it is, isn't it?
Yeah. I think you move on, and sorry, yesterday I do a couple of shows I do for the channel. I do one called Pints and Ports, which is probably actually the only time I drink regularly. Is a video editor friend of mine who lives in America. We just sit and have a beer over video chat and just chat about things going on in technology. And I've just started a new series called Only in the UK, where we talk about weird, the stranger things that only happen in Britain. We did one yesterday about the drinking culture, like the UK drinking culture compared to the rest of the world. But yes, yesterday we were reminiscing about crazy drinking stories, and now it's come up again today as well.
Yeah, well, yeah, oh yeah, I've got some stories on drinking, I'll tell you. But yeah, that's back in the distant past. I'll tell you what, if ever you want a reason, I was in New York in 1991/92. Me and a mate went out there, and we met up on the last day with some Germans, and I went out to see Wolfgang in a place called Bamberg in Germany. Not Hamburg, Bamberg. And apparently it's the alcoholic centre of the universe. And he got a mate who, because there was all hoteliers and licensees and restaurant owners. And when we got out, he says, we are going to see Andreas today, David. And I went, oh, yeah, he owns a brewery. And, you think, oh, yeah, okay. Anyway, we turned up at this place, and I kid you not, well, I couldn't see it, and the missus had come over with us, and me and my mate and the missus, and said, can you remember the sound of music? And I went, oh, yeah. She said, and you got a vague idea of the Germans, with the pointy... I went, yes. She said, that's exactly what this is. And it was a bloody brewery. Oh, my God, did I have a day of days. It was heaven. They certainly learned how to put it back, and I thought, oh, I'm enjoying this. Yeah. But Bamberg's a place to go if you want a beer.
If I'm ever out that way, I'll... But my boss lives in Prague, and he's always saying I need to get out there. He said it's a good place for drinking out there.
Yeah, so they tell me. I mean, as you say, it's... That's a thought. 7 marathons, 7 days in 7 continents. I'm wondering if I could do 7 pubs in 7 days in 7 continents. That'd be good, wouldn't it?
I'd come along for that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there'd be a blooming few of us, I tell you.
Yeah, that's more my pace.
I love it.
You mentioned the sound of music. My wife and my little boy are watching that upstairs now.
I'll get away.
Yeah.
Brilliant film, to be fair. It is. In fact, strangely enough, last year when we did the Western Front Way, on the second day there was a particular company foundation who sponsored us, and that day we had to go up like a mountain track which was 14 miles long, and I said to him, what I'll do when I get to the top, I'm going to sing a song, The Hills Are Alive, with the sound of music, just the first few chords, because my singing is as well, yeah. And it's strange, isn't it? We did it for a laugh, but it was good. But yeah, all good. So how did you get into all this lot then, Dave?
Well, into the YouTube channel I started because I was bored really, but I was living up north. I was doing a bit of freelance IT repair work, but not much. And my wife said, you should do something. And she used to be a chef.
Uh-huh.
So she's taught me a lot of cookery. And so I did a couple of videos and just started a YouTube channel. I've got a friend who's an editor. I've got lots of video editor friends now, but then I only had one. And he put them together for me, and I put them up, and they did okay, like sort of 100, 150 views. But then I reached out to all of the people, the big YouTubers that I watched on a regular basis, saying, big fan of your work, just trying to get into YouTube myself now. Would you have a look at this pilot video and give me any hints or tips and tricks and stuff. And the only one who got back to me was Simon, and he gave me some good advice about framing and recommended that I get a decent microphone, because we shot the first couple of videos on an iPhone 6, which it is fine. I mean, they're good. iPhones always have good cameras. It was a good enough camera then for what we were doing.
Yes.
But yeah, but we kind of just stayed in touch. We chuck an email back and forth once a month. How are you? How's the family? And he sent me some t-shirts. I said if he sent me a shirt, I'll wear it when I do a video. For his channel.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we all moved back down to Portsmouth, we've got a lot of the Amazon Alexas.
Mm-hmm.
I assume you know about those.
Well, I've heard of them, yeah.
Yeah, it's just a smart speaker, same as Siri or whatever. So, but you can use them to play music. And my little boy was playing with it one day. He was only about 3, and he put on a song called "The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald," which is a Gordon Lightfoot song about the Edmund Fitzgerald that went down on the Great Lakes. And I'd heard it before, and I thought, that's the sort of thing that Simon would cover on one of his channels, the story. So I emailed him and said, how come you've never covered this? And he said it's in the queue, it's waiting for someone to pick it up and write it, because he's got 9 or 10 different YouTube channels. So he employs a team of writers and researchers and that. Yeah. And that they write the scripts, and then he credits the writers and reads it all out. Yeah. He said, would you be interested in having a go? And I was like, sure, I've never written anything before, but absolutely. So yeah, I wrote it, and he liked it. So yeah, he took me on as a writer there. Yeah. So I started doing that, and I've been doing that for a few years, but I put the channel on hold for a while whilst I was doing the writing. But then I started doing a live stream with Simon, for one of his shows, and he kept saying, "Oh, you've got a channel, haven't you? You've got a channel." I said, "Yeah, I have, but I don't do anything on it." But people kept picking it up, so I ended up with 1,000 subscribers, and no, I wasn't doing any outgoing content. So I was like, well, I've got to start now. I've got to start putting some videos out. So yeah, I interviewed. I think the first one I did coming back was an interview with Sean, which is up on YouTube if you want to check it out at some point. But yeah, I did, and that was very popular. And then I started doing some videos on adaptive tech, voiceover for the iPhone, and some of the image recognition apps and stuff like that. I've done an interview with the guy who created an app called PickyBot, which is one of the apps where you can take a picture and it will describe the picture to you.
Okay.
So yeah, that's...
well, the rest is history, as they say.
Indeed, yeah.
I'm not really into technology that much, to be fair. I mean, I'm a technical idiot. But I mean, I listen to a little bit of music, a few audio books. I've got a couple of apps that have been put on the phone by the girls. But I mean, obviously, I'm into my sport, my running, etc. But I also I do a lot of carpentry. So I've got my own workshop, all the power tools, lathes, all that sort of stuff, and I enjoy that. I could simply, I do. I get lost in there all day. At the moment I'm making a few desk tidies, a table, and my little in there wants me to. Well, I've got to make her a desk because we're doing her room up. So this desk is only 9 foot long, and I said, that ain't a bloody desk. So it wants this on it and that on it. And I said, yeah, I've got a job. Dad, you'll do it. I'm thinking, bloody hell. But I do enjoy it. And I love it when they throw something at me and they go, can you do that? And I go, sure I can. And, away I go. But just love it. Love designing. Love the one-offs. Love making them. And it's lovely, although I can't see the bloody end product. What I like is when my mates will say, I don't know how the bloody hell you do it, Dave, but it's bloody lovely, and the graining is fantastic, and I'm thinking, well, thanks a lot for that.
I like a bit.
It's fulfilling. It's full.
I like a bit of woodwork on the side. I've got quite a few. I haven't got a lathe. I've got table saw, mitre saws.
Yeah.
Pillar drill.
Yeah.
I got a little setup. I made my wife a puzzle box for Christmas. It was actually it was supposed to be for Christmas the year before, but I put my fingers through my table saw.
Oh, that's handy.
It was so stupid as well. I was doing some cuts for this box, and I knew the blade and the table saw needed changing. I was just coming to the last cut of the day, and I was like, I'll do that, and then I'll change the blade in the morning, it'll be fine. But I was cutting it, and I went to pull it through, reach around to pull it through, and which you shouldn't do anyway, but then the blade hit a knot in the wood, so it kicked it back, and sliced my left index finger clean down to the bone, took the tip off my thumb. So I had to have reconstructive nerve surgery, because it cut through. I didn't know this, but you got a nerve on each on the side of each finger that controls half of the sensitivity in each finger. So I cut through the entire side of my left index finger. Circulation, the sensation for the whole left-hand side of my left finger was gone.
Okay.
As someone who types for a living, this was, and they weren't good at. I mean, I went and obviously I went to the hospital, and they sort of cleaned it up, and they were gonna just leave it, which is kind of fair enough, it's on you if you put your fingers through a saw. But I said, look, I'm a braille reader. I type for a living, and they're like, oh, okay, well we'll see the plastic surgery team and see what they can do, and they were able to rejoin the two ends of the severed nerve together, and it's still not perfect. Coming up to 15 months on, but it is, I couldn't feel to tie my shoelaces even. It's amazing how you miss the sensitivity in your finger. But I can type again now. It'll never quite be right, but it's certainly usable. It's far better than I deserve it to be.
Yeah, I've had a few close shaves, and I've had a few shaves, and yeah, but touch wood. But no, I'm in my workshop's 20 foot by 12, and I've got all sorts in there, and I've just had a new plane of thickness and a bandsaw. And I know when my mates come around, they go, Dave, don't turn that on. We're going up the house and have a coffee with the missus, because we can't stand here and watch you use that bloody thing. And okay, all right. But it's I guess it's one of the things, isn't it? Chop saws and band saws and lathes. I don't suppose they associate a blind bloke or blind people with that kind of equipment, do they?
Well, no, that's a problem I've run into actually, because we wanted a deck in the back garden.
Yeah.
And my wife wanted it made out of recovered pallet wood.
Yeah.
So got someone round, and they were like, it's going to cost you like 800-900 quid for me to build that. I was like, nah, you're eat. So I went on Facebook Marketplace and got all the pallets.
Yeah.
And my dad taught me how to use power tools when I was a kid. His thing was, you can't see, but we'll work around that. I've got four brothers, but two of them are half brothers and came along a lot later. The three older brothers, my dad was always, he'd work out a way for me to do stuff. So, yeah, I had the experience-ish. I think we got all the pallets we needed for maybe 60 quid.
Yeah.
And then again on Marketplace, I bought just a small electric miter saw and a table saw for 70 quid for the pair. And that was it, you know, screws and bits and pieces. And it probably took me 4 days, whereas a professional could have done it maybe in an afternoon.
Yeah, I know where you're coming from, yeah.
But then I had done it, you know.
There's the difference. Yeah, my wife always says that. I'm sitting in the office now. I've made this desk. She wanted drawers like this. She wanted that. She wanted a cupboard for this, a filing cabinet, and I've done it all. And people will come in and go, "Where the hell did you get that from?" I go, "I built it." "Yeah, not it." Oh, whatever. It don't make any difference. But you know, it's like the missus said. You know, most folks could have done this in a day or 2 days, and it's took you 2 weeks, but it doesn't matter. You've done it. And so pretty well everything wood in the house I've made. You know, from beds, wardrobes, you name it, and it's been there. But I really enjoy it. I really enjoy it. And it's a satisfaction. You know what I mean? So, but there's a few blood stains on where the missus, "Oh, what you done now? It won't come out of the house." What's my bloody one is? So there's a few of my trademarks in there.
It's just personalisation, isn't it? I mean, the house we live in now is just over 100 years old. And when we moved in, they had just like the standard carpet you have for renting, you know, hard-wearing. And so we pulled all the carpet up on the landing, and it's all the old, you know, really nice old wooden floorboards.
Oh, yeah.
But it had probably 100 years of paint and varnish on it.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't quite finished it yet. It's been put on the back, but I belt sanded.
Yeah.
Probably 100 hours of belt sanding, and they've come up nice. They're not quite finished. I need to get in with a little mouse sander and finish a few bits off, and then we're going to put some nice varnish on it, and they'll be the nuts.
And that's it. Well, it's like my missus will always say, because in the last house we were in, we had all parquet floors down. We didn't. People in before. Similar thing, you know, the house was 100 years or as well, as near as dummy. And when we took all the carpets up, there was the parquet underneath, and on the outside, what they used to do was like an 18-inch piece where it was all varnished. And when we took it up, and Deb said, "We can't cover this." So, as you say, belt sanding a lot, and I must have been on it a whole week. And fetched it all up in the end, and then the mother-in-law, she walked in on the last day and she said, "Dave, do you know what? You can't see it," she said, "but you've done a good job. But my God, the grain in it is beautiful." I said, "You'd appreciate this if you could see it." "Oh, yeah, okay, thanks, Joyce." But it was nice then when we varnished and different people come in. "Bloody hell, that's beautiful." And I said, "No," and that was covered by a carpet. It's crazy, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
You know, it's absolutely crazy.
I was hoping under the kitchen, because it's just laminate, I was hoping we'd have nice stone tiles under there, because out the back they've got the old, what would have been the old coal shed and the outside toilet, and they've got really nice tiling out there. And I was hoping it would be the same, and it comes into a bit of the kitchen as well. I was hoping it'd be all the same underneath, but it's not. It's just wooden floorboards, which is a shame. Otherwise, I'd have had all that up as well. But
yeah, some of the old stuff is beautiful. Absolutely. I mean, you know, I've got a good imagination, and you know, when people say it's this and that and the other, and you look, and I've got that in my head then, and I think, yeah, and that'll stay. You know, we ain't covering that again, and so yeah. But unfortunately, my missus likes all that kind of stuff, so it's nice that, you know, well, at least one of the two of us can see it. So we get, but yeah, well, best we better get on. I don't know what you want from me.
but yeah, tell us a little bit about. Well, tell us your story, if you will. You know, how you got into.
Well, yeah. Where do I start? Where do I begin? I suppose it stems from being a kid, to be honest with you, Dave. Probably maybe even a similar story to you. I mean, around the area that I was born in, I got a bit of a reputation as the clumsy kid. You know, any falling out of trees or falling over walls, riding your bike into cars, etc., etc. Broken glasses every day. There was more sellotape on my glasses than, you know, on a roll of sellotape. And that was the way it was. And then the one day, it was strange because I said to my mum and dad, I said, I want to change my opticians. And they went, well, you know, whatever. I mean, I'm only 10 now. And, you know, I was a big boy then. And so I changed it. I went down to this optician's local to us. Went in and after checking my eyes and giving me some more bottle tops on the bottom of my glasses, he sent me away with a letter. And 6 weeks later, me and Mum were over at the Birmingham Eye Hospital. Spent a whole day there. The consultant did X, Y and Z, and at the end of it, basically, no PC in them days, he just simply sat me down and he said, son, you got a condition of the eye called retinitis pigmentosa. And I must have looked at him blank, and he went, in other words, kid, you're going blind. And I'll always remember that day, because it was a Wednesday, strangely enough. And I remember looking out of the window, because it was an old hospital, you know, floor-to-ceiling windows and stuff, and I'm thinking, blind, what's he on about? You know, I can see the sky, I can see the sun, I can see a bus going past. Give it an hour, hopefully, I'm going to be playing football over the park with my mates. And so, it sort of, I guess that initial, you're going blind, son, stayed in my head. And diagnosed at 10, and then suddenly, as the years passed by, the realisation then that, you know, I found out after various other tests that I'd always had night blindness, so I'd never ever seen at night or in dark places. It was hereditary. My granddad was blind, and I mean, you know, as a family, I knew granddad was blind, and I was marvelled at what he got up to. Never thinking that, you know, one day I would be where my granddad was. And I just carried on. It was suggested I went to special school, you know, and I thought, not in your life. My mates are going to what was then George Salter High School. That's where I'm going. And so I went to mainstream school. Yeah, I struggled to see the blackboard. At times it was a bit difficult. But I didn't do too bad. Came out of school. My sight levels were then beginning to drop, where it was noticeable. But you know what? I didn't want to accept it, Dave. I did play football. I've won a few medals. I've scored the occasional hat trick, and I weren't a bad. You know, I mean, athletics was my style. I ran cross country. I ran on the track. I got to a county level. I weren't too bad, but by the time I was leaving school, my sight levels were dropping. That I had to pack up the cross country. Running on the track was getting difficult, but I still wouldn't accept what was happening to me. My career on leaving school, I wanted to join the army. And although I went into an office environment to begin with, just before my 18th birthday, I went to the Army careers. And I explained my situation. I says, look, I've got a condition, it's called RP. I do struggle to see at night, you know, and I've done this, done that. And they said, well, let's put it this way. Never say never. I ain't going to say no. Go and have a medical. Let's get you in, say, the catering corps or the medical. And once you're in, if you can get in, then, you know, you can move around in the army. And I'm thinking, ooh, I'm liking the sound of this. So I went off for my army medical, and physical was fine, you know, the odd press up or whatever. And then at the end of it, the doctor, and I'm stood there and I'm thinking, nobody has said no. And he asked me 10,000, or what seemed like 10,000 questions. And he said, sign here, sonny. And then the next three words just devastated me. Son, you're exempt. And it was at that time in my life, the realisation of sight blindness, it was going to rob me of a life. That's what I thought. And as you can imagine, I had a couple of years where, I felt sorry for myself, asking that question, why me? 2 years, 3 years maybe, went out with my mates, we went out and we drank, we did this, we did that, we did the other. There was always a smile on my face, but really, inside it was eating me away. Why me? What's going to go on? How am I going to live? How am I going to... And all these thoughts. But then, 2-3 years on, it was one evening, I was looking out the window back of the house, and I could barely see the tree at the bottom of the garden, and I thought to myself, you know what, kid? You're sitting here, and you're going to wait for that tree to disappear, and you're going to have everybody running after you, wiping your nose, etc. Or are you going to start living? And it literally as if somebody flicked the fingers or turned a switch on, and I thought, you know what? Life's for living. I'm 20-ish. The good book says we got 70 years. So I'm gonna sit here for 50 years feeling sorry for myself. And I genuinely went out at night and thought, sod this, I'm going to start living. And that's exactly what I did. And, all sorts of things happened, and I took things on the chin. I had a few accidents. I fell down a few roadworks. But you get back up, you shake yourself, and you have a good old laugh now, you know what I mean? Rather than feeling sorry for yourself. And now I can tell stories about them falling in the potholes and whatevers.
It certainly gives you a wealth of comedy material, I've found, over the years, yeah.
But if I got a week to tell you some of the stories and some of the things and places I've stepped off and I've dropped about 15 foot thinking, that's a big step.
Yeah. You'll appreciate this story, I'll tell you. I was staying with a friend of mine, and we were going to his local pub of the evening, and it was about a 15-minute walk if you walked all round, or you could jump over his back fence, walk down the road a little bit, go down a flight of steps, carry on down the alleyway a little bit, and go in through the back of the pub. It took 2 minutes. So that's what we did. So over the back of his fence. Then you just walk along another alleyway, jump over another fence, and then go down a flight of steps, and then round and into... So we've done that. He's jumped over the second fence. I've walked a little bit further down and jumped over the fence. Now he jumped over the fence at the top of the stairs. I did it at the bottom of the stairs. So I was expected about a 6 foot drop on the other side, and it was about 18. And I landed flat on my back, and my mate was just dying. Like, I couldn't breathe because I'd landed flat on my back.
And mate, I can relate because, I mean, one of my mates who I run with now, I mean, he's a character. And occasionally, I have tripped up. Occasionally, I've tripped over a root. And the first thing he does, he's not help me up, gets his phone out, takes a picture of me on the floor first, then he helps me up. Oh, and then he sends that picture back to my missus and says, put that on Facebook, where am we today? But there was a similar thing, Dave. I used to work for a company called Rudders and Paynes, and they were timber merchants. And after I couldn't get in the army, obviously I had to find a job indoors and all the rest. Well, I used to sell suspended ceilings, petitions and that kind of thing. And we was doing a stock take the one day. And anyway, I was with a chap by the name of Julian Jaquis. Now, Julian was about 5'2". He got handled by a moustache. He had been in the army himself, and he was like a case, and he was sort of like, hey, David, how are you this morning? One of them. So, and he was as deaf as a bloody post. So, they teamed me and him up. Well, you can just imagine, we got ceiling tiles, and they were palleted and the ceiling tiles, each pallet was sort of 6 foot high. So we got 3 pallets, and then going back, I could still see a little bit, and going back 3 lots, and I said, right, what I'm going to do, Julian, I'm going to climb up the top, I'm going to go over, and I'm going to count them, and get ready for my count. Okay, Dave, okay. So I climbed up this pallet, I went across 3 pallets to the other end, and there was some blocks of hardboard. And I thought, right, what am I going to do here? Right, if I drop off this pallet onto this pack of hardboard, and then I can climb down, count them, come back up, give him a shout. So I dropped 6 foot. What I never realised was there was 2 packs of hardboard either side with a 6 foot gap with a piece of hardboard in the middle. And it looked like a bloody platform. So I hit this platform, this hardboard, it folded up like a pack of cards, hit me in the ears, I dropped to the floor, knees come up, hit the chin, I'm laying there on the floor, and the director walked round the corner and he went, what's oh, it's you, Heeley. Oh, that's away, I'm there seeing Dickie Baird stars, but it's, honestly, Dave, at the time, how I'm still alive, like you probably, I don't.
Yeah.
But some of the stories, I tell you what, mate, I could list you stories off and people would go, no, you're making it up, and no. Some of the stories are just unbelievable. And how I'm still here, I do not know, but I am. But, I'll tell you what, it'd make a great comedy sketch.
Yeah. So, you seen that film, is it Richard Pryor and...
Tino Evelyn?
Yeah. I love that film. It's so good.
Well, apparently there's no AD on it, and we've tried to watch it twice, and my missus is absolutely crying, trying to explain the film to me. And she says, all I can see, Dave, is you. Cool, this is brilliant. But anyway, we digress, I guess. But,
so how did you get... how did you get into the insane sports situation?
Yeah, well, years went on, years went by. Yeah, I'd done too much drinking and socialising and enjoying myself as you do. And it was, I got in all sorts of trouble, basically, because I wouldn't use a white stick, and I used to walk up the road, and I had a few accidents with roadworks, and my missus always said, look, you're going to kill yourself. So I fell down this last set of roadworks, and I got up, and the next morning I thought, I've got to do something, I've got to take this chip off my shoulder and admit to the fact that I've got a problem. So I got in touch with social services, and I then sort of started doing a bit of braille, and then they gave me a little bit of white cane training, and then somebody introduced me. They said, look, have you thought of a guide dog? And I went, no. And they said, well, why didn't you try one? And I said, here we go, yeah, okay. And I thought, how's a dog going to change my life? Well, when guide dogs came out the first time and they brought the dog out, he said, right, what we're going to do, long lead, you hold on to the harness. He says, give me a route that you do most days. And I says, yeah, okay. Well, this route that I did most days took me just over an hour and 10 minutes to walk. White stick, tapping every lamppost there was in the street. Anyway, harnessed up. He got the long lead, we went round with the dog. I'm kidding you not, it took me just over 10 minutes to walk it. We got back and I went, you ain't took me all the way around. He said, Dave, I'm telling you, you told me the route, that's where I took you. No, I don't believe you. So he says, right, do again and I'll explain landmarks as we go.
Yeah.
He's telling me, and I'm thinking, blinking heck, that's just took me 10 minutes. So I was sold on the idea.
Yeah, I'll bet.
So I had my first dog. Strangely enough, his name was Peter, and my dog now I've got, who's my 5th dog, he's also called Peter. Anyway, but I come out of Leamington at the time training, and I thought, wow, after 3 weeks, this has changed my life dramatically, it's given me mobility like I've never had. And anyway, I was on my 2nd dog at the time, using a social club, and a chap come up and he said, look, we've seen you, Dave, in the area with Carla. We think it's amazing. We'd like to fundraise. And I said, what are you going to do? And he says, well, I'm going to run the London Marathon. And I said, okay, if I leave the dog at home, would you be my guide for the day and I'll run it with you? Now, I hadn't run in 35 years. I didn't own a pair of trainers. I hadn't got a pair of shorts. And my missus says, are you completely stupid? I ran my first London Marathon in 2002. What was it? I think it was 4 hours and 16 minutes I did it in. And they do say you'll run through that line and it'll be a case of take the trainers off, tie them together, swing them, let them go and never put them on your feet again, or embrace it. And I am so glad I embraced it. And it threw me into such a wonderful career, if you want to, because from the running, from the cycling, from the swimming, I'm now, dare I say, I'm a motivational speaker. Do I motivate people? I don't know. Do I inspire people? I don't know. They must look at me and think, well, if he can do it, I'm sure I can. But, you know, I've run to date 16 London Marathons. Sadly, over the last 2 years, I've had 2 knee replacements. They told me not to run again, but anyway, my 3 daughters have convinced me, so I'm going to run my last ever London Marathon this year, and my 3 girls, which will be fantastic, are going to be guiding me around, so that will be a memory. But if I were just to say, I've run 7 marathons in 7 days on 7 continents. I've run and combined cycle from John O'Groats to Land's End over 10 days, so effectively it was 10 marathons in 10 days and 700 miles of combined cycling. Then I've rowed across the continent, 7 countries in 7 days, with my mate Steve on the front, and he's me tandem pilot, captain, you know, and we have a laugh together. And then, what was that, 2013, and then in 2015 I took part in the Marathon des Sables, which is spending 7 days totally self-sufficient in the Sahara Desert. My mate Tony, who I run with still, and Rosie, I had to have 2 guides for that one. And then 2016, my mate Tony's brilliant. He says, fancy a triathlon? I said, yeah, well, there's a local one, and everybody has a go at it. I said, yeah. I said, you put us down. He said, oh, I've entered us in it. He said, it's Escape from Alcatraz. I went, hang on a minute. That's in flipping San Francisco, isn't it? Yeah. So we got entered into, and I knew somebody from this side of the pond who knew somebody that side of the pond, so we got 2 places in there. Not free, by the way, we had to pay. And so we did the Escape from Alcatraz triathlon, where you swim from the iconic prison 1.5 miles across San Francisco Bay, then it's through the hills on the bike and through the hills running. But the beauty was, Dave, the people don't believe us, but it's true. We entered in, we got in, and neither one of us could swim. So we turned the year of 2016, and I always remember it. It was the 7th of January. We went to the local swimming bath to start our swimming career. And by the end of May, we'd been doing the open water swimming. We got comfortably up to swimming 2K. So we were sort of relatively a bit more confident. And when we dropped off the boat in San Francisco Bay, the words as we went was jump, and as we hit the water, we went swim, and we never spoke for 58 minutes. But we did it, and but again, Dave, I could tell you stories on all of these, you know what I mean? And then, where are we, 2016, 2017, we took on, and I think we're the first blind pairing, guide and runner, to do the complete series of the Great Runs. You know what the Great North Run is?
Yeah.
Well, they do 25 other runs throughout the year. We started with a run in Edinburgh in the January, and we finished in Ethiopia in the November, and we'd done a combination of 5 10-milers, half marathons, 10-milers, marathons. In fact, the day we did Birmingham, we had to run a marathon and then come through the finish line, and 20 minutes later we run a half marathon. But you know what I mean? You're stupid enough to attempt it. You're going to do it, in you. And then that was 2017. 2018, which was fantastic. For the Albion Foundation's the charity that I support and I've done for a long time. Well, they put a trek together on the Great Wall of China. And what was beautiful, because my wife and my 3 daughters were now old enough to come along on a challenge. And so we spent 6 days covering, I think it's about 70 miles in total on the Great Wall. And we did renovated, unrenovated, we went through villages, towns, cities, you know. The wall, wow. I still haven't got my head round. They said the wall followed the ground. There was no bridges. If it went up 100 foot and down 100, that's where the wall went. And at times your nose climbing up was touching the wall and going down on the step. You know, it was just where the land went, that's where the wall went. And it was just incredible. But what was fantastic, my family was with me, which was brilliant.
Yeah.
And then that's 2019, me, Tony and Rose again, we took on the Comrades Ultramarathon, which is a double marathon in South Africa. Has to be completed in under 12 hours. And we didn't learn various things until we actually got out there. We never realised there were so many checkpoints and you got to do a time. If you didn't, they just pulled you out. Luckily, we did. I completed in 11 hours 50. And I'll tell you what, wow, did the legs know about it at the end. But hey-ho, it was done.
I couldn't do that in a month.
Well, Dave, this again... We actually ran 56 miles, I think it was that day, 56 or 87k, whichever. And we decided the year we were doing it, it was the uphill way. So why don't we wait a year and do it the downhill way? I don't know. But there's so many stories I can tell you actually on that 56 miles. It's just because it was hard. You knew about it. It was painful, but my God, the 3 of us, we had some laughs. If you know what I mean. And you've got to keep yourself sane. And then, of course, I then organised a cycle ride in 2020. You've obviously heard of Colditch Castle.
Yes.
In the old East Germany. And Tony, bless him, my mate. He got mobile home and he rung me on the Thursday night and he went, "You'll never guess where I am." And I says, "Tone, I wouldn't have a clue, mate. Where am you?" He said, "You ever heard of Colditch?" And I went, "I have, yeah." He says, "Well, me and the missus," he says, "we just parked up outside Colditch Castle." And I went, "Get away." And I said, "I remember the series, I remember this, Colditch Castle." And I went, "Ooh." And the following morning on the Friday, he said, "Why did you go?" "Ooh." And I says, "Well, I've been thinking." He says, "I thought you had." So I arranged this bike ride. So the idea was we were going to spend 2 nights in Colditch Castle. We were going to virtually escape, and then we were going to ride 800 mile back to the Hawthorns in 7 days. Which, in 2020... Now, you'll know and understand where I'm coming from here, because I found out that it was the 75th anniversary of the liberation of Colditch Castle in the April. I'd also heard that after the war, Colditch Castle, for a very short period of time, had been used as an eye infirmary. The year was 2020 vision. Blind bloke on the back of a tandem. The stories you could see was building. So anyway, I put a great team of cyclists together. There was 10 of us. Well, 10 of us originally, and we had some sadness and there was 3 had to drop out for various reasons, which I won't go into now. But it was sad. But of course. We got the support team, got it all sponsored, and then Boris decided to close the world down. So 2020, I had to postpone. 2021, I rectified, had to postpone. But in 2022, I was able to go ahead. So we all went out to Colditch Castle, and we spent the 2 nights in the castle. It was a fantastic place. If you ever get the opportunity, not only through the war years, the history around the place is just incredible, and it's a lovely little town. And the mayor of Colditch, because we got a friend who's German, and he set up the mayor of Colditch, set us on our way, and we rode 800 miles back to the Hawthorns, and but you can imagine 2020 when we went out to do the recce. Over 2 years, the Germans had disappeared a few roads, put a few new roads in. Oh my God, it was a calamity at times, but it was a comedy of errors. But we did it, and we got back to the Hawthorns, and that was fabulous. Then I found out I got to have my first knee replacement, so I had that done, and then I got walking again. And so 2023, I decided. I was also told then I got to have my left knee done. So I said, oh, okay. So with my good right knee and my bad left knee, there was 4 of us, took on Adrian's wall. And now I know, we did this in 5 days. Now I know why people take 10 and 12 days. It was hard work, believe you me. So I thought, well, if I'm going to have a new knee on the left, I better as well wear it out properly. So we finished on the Friday. I went and had my knee done on the Monday. And then after having the 2 knees done, I come back last January. I set up this ride where we covered the Western Front Way, 1,000 k, 7 days, and we just it started as a bike ride, Dave. But when you travel from kilometre 0, Swiss-French border, and literally seemed every corner there is a memorial or war graves, it was 7 days. It was just incredible. The bikes were in places bikes shouldn't have been. We were up and down mountains. But it turned out more than a bike ride. It turned out to be just a fantastic journey of remembrance. And again, so many stories I can tell you about the Western Front Way and why we did it and who was on board. We got ex-army, and it was just absolutely incredible. A journey. And that was that. And I mean, we'll perhaps have a talk at some other point if you want me to share many, many stories, because
definitely.
We'll need a few days to share some of the stories from some of the runs. But I've been very, very fortunate. In 2020, I feel so very proud. I was awarded an OBE, and then only last year, 2nd of April, I was appointed as a Deputy Lieutenant of the West Midlands. So I've had to wait 50 years, but I now don the King's uniform, the uniform of the Crown, with sword at my side. So effectively, I am now, wearing the uniform of the Crown. So I've had to wait 50 years to actually put an official uniform on my back. And
You've done it.
Oh, it's incredible, mate. I feel so proud, so very privileged, so very honoured, humbled. And I am having the time of my life. I'm meeting so many wonderful, wonderful people, going to so many incredible events. Remembrance was very special this year after doing the Western Front Way. And, what more could I ask? Plus I've got my workshop. I do my carpentry. I thoroughly enjoy that. I'm now, as the papers ask, how old am you, Dave? And I go on 39 and 388 months. Well, I go, how old's that? And I go, well, work it out for yourself. I've probably got the months wrong, but I'm coming, what am I? 67 now. And, and they do say, isn't it, age is just a number, and I'm out running again. I'm going to do the London Marathon this year with my 3 girls. It's not going to be as fast as ever, but I don't care. I'm going to start. I'm going to enjoy that 26.2 miles with them. I'm going to get to that finish line, and that will be my last London Marathon, but what a memory to go out on. My 3 daughters, we crossed the line, and the wife's waiting. I've got to get a sponsorship deal with Kleenex, because I know she's going to... but what can I say, Dave? And along the way, we've had some fantastic stories, mate. We really have, and we've had some perishing good laughs. Tony's the only guide runner to put 5 stitches in my head because he run me into a metal fence. But it's part and parcel. And you know what he said? This is funny, Dave. We haven't been running together long, some years ago, and we come up from underneath an underpass, and what happened? He turned left and forgot to tell me to turn left, or forgot to pull me left. And I hit this fence, my head split right open. So I stood there, and he goes, "You all right?" And I went, "Christ, Stone," I said. "Do you know," I said, "I've just seen pink and bloody blue dicky bears." And his comment was, "And you told me all these years you've been blind." But that's the comedy we have between us.
Fantastic.
And, but Dave, so many stories, as you have yourself. And I love sharing them. And I now, talk to schools, unis, you name it, I'll talk to anybody. Do I inspire? I don't know. Do I motivate? I don't know. But, it gives people a laugh as well, as much as, they can enjoy some of the stories that I tell. But, so that's it. That's me. That's plenty more to tell, obviously. But
yeah, if you want to come back on at some point, we'll do some stories. Plug your charity, plug your book.
Yeah, well, of course, I forgot about my book. I've got my book out, which was 2016. I have been asked to write another one, which, do I really want to do it? No. I want to share the stories, but writing the book and then having the deadlines and 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning, the missus was reading the bits that we've, you know what I mean? When people go on about, it's hard work. But
to be preaching to the choir, I write every day.
Well, you know where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
And it was hard work. And we put in, because there was a young lady, a friend's daughter, Sophie, she helped. Well, she said, when I gave her my diary, she said, "Dave, the book's written rather, up until 2016. She says, written. She says, I've got to put your spelling right, I've got to put a few commas and full stops in and chronological order." And we got up to about 140,000 words, and the publisher said, we've got to get to 96. And the more Deb read what we'd wrote and put down, the more I kept adding. And so in the end, I said to Deb and to Sophie, "Look, you two are going to have to pull out what stories you think." And we got it down to, I think we got it down to 96,000. But it's out there. It's called From Light to Dark. And it's...
Is it on Amazon?
Yeah, Amazon, and it's at Waterstones.
Okay, I'll put a link in the video description.
No, that's wonderful, thank you.
And then go buy Dave's book.
Yes, it are. But people have, rather than just being kind to me, they said, "Dave, we're reading the book and it's your voice." Well, in fact, Adrian Charles narrated it for me. Because obviously, he's local to us, you know what I mean, and he got the accent. Yeah. And people say, "Dave, we can hear your words, the way that you are, and your sense of humour coming out in the book." And I went, "Oh, thank you." I said, "Well, I have been asked to write another one."
Jasper to do it now.
Well, yeah, I want a proper black country chap, not him, he's a Brumman. But I've got now, from 2016, I've got about another 7 or 8 challenges that I've done, and it would be lovely to put them on paper. I have wrote articles on most of them, so I suppose the book's ready to go. And I have actually tentatively asked my youngest's best friend. She's just finished uni, done a degree in English, and I said, "Look, how do you fancy writing it?" "Oh, yes, please." So I said, "Well, let's get our heads together, and if you want, you can write it for me." So hopefully she will, and that'll be, and if she can, get something from it, well, absolutely fantastic. There's a film out called, again, Dave, this was ridiculous. A friend of mine, Nigel, he does films and one thing, short films, and he rang me up and he just simply said, Dave, he said, the two twins, he said, who I work with, the directors, he says, they do all the filming. He said, I've mentioned you, and I think you're an interesting character. I'd like to do a film. And I went, yeah, okay, if you say so. Anyway, about 3 or 4 months later, he'd arranged, brought the two twins over with him. The two lads, Ian and Dominic and I, sat round our kitchen table, me and the missus, with a script. And Deborah had some of it, like, you know. And it was so surreal. I'm thinking, hang on a minute, you're talking me here, Blind Dave, the old codger from West Bromwich. And we sat round this table discussing this script, and they said, what do you think? And I'm thinking, I don't believe this. I truly do not believe this. So they went away, and me and the missus, and we sort of sat and we talked, and I think both of us were stunned into silence. They want to do a... Anyway, it was going to be a 30-minute film. They wanted to put it in a short film festival. It turned out, I think, to be 45 minutes in the end, which they said really now they would rather have done a feature. But it's called 7 Days. That's on Amazon. And we got, what is it? Acorn. What do you call it? Awards. Acorn Awards or something. We got it.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, blinking heck, 8 awards. And they keep telling me they're now considering, like, doing something else and moving it into a feature. Whether they do or whether they don't, I don't know. I mean, you know. But, blooming heck, a film on this blind old codger from West Brom. My God, whatever next.
We'll put a link to that in the video, in the description as well, for anybody who wants.
Dave, you know, when I look back on my life and where I started, council estate, my first ever mile run for the school, you know, and where it's taken me, it's just incredible. It's absolutely incredible. But people always, and I've always said this, what you see is what you get. I am still the same chap as I was. There's no airs and graces. I'm pleased and proud of the various awards, the things that I've achieved. But, you know, I'd rather go and sit up the pub with the lads than go to a posh hotel and have all this and that, the other, you know. I know where I'm from.
Yeah,
My feet are firmly on the floor. And that's me. You know, I can mix with posh. But, you know, I'm working class, simple as, and I'll always be working class. But now I'm oh my God, you know, I'm bloody hell. Mind your OBE, the kids keep your feet on the floor. My title, OBE, what is it,
Yeah.
Order of the British Empire?
Yeah.
No, not with my kids. It's Old Blind Egypt. They've even had me a cup bed with OBE and Old Blind Egypt on. It's absolutely brilliant.
I think, mate, that's got to be the ending line. That.
But it's fantastic life, mate, and yeah, but you know, I'm sort of Blind Dave OBE, DL. I've got a uniform, I've got a sword, and I'm thinking, I pinch myself most mornings, think, is this really me? You know, as I trundle up the road with my guide dog to go and get a bottle of milk for the missus' coffee. I love it.
It's an incredible story, mate. But yeah, if you want to come back on and go into some stories a bit more, it'd be a pleasure, really, genuinely.
Let's get the 27th of April out the way, the marathon.
Yeah.
Because it'd be lovely to share the story of my last London Marathon. Because London Marathon, I mean, I can't speak highly enough of the people down there. They've sorted me out the 3 places for the girls, which London Marathon places are so hard to get.
Hard to get, yeah.
I won the Spirit of London Award, and they just said, you know, like, for what I've done with reference to them, they wanted to help my last marathon. So I can't speak highly enough of London Marathon. It's where it started me off, you know what I mean? And that London line will be just one hell of a memory when we finish. But it'd be nice to chat on that, and then...
Definitely.
More stories, you know.
Excellent.
Oh, is it possible to throw me Just Giving on, Dave?
Sure, yes, of course.
Well, now that I've got to get this right, the Just Giving is all the W's, justgiving.com/pages/blind Dave and daughters run London Marathon.
I'll put that in the description as well. So there's links in the page description, in the video description. So if anybody wants to go to that, and
that'd be fantastic. And it's supporting the Albion Foundation. And I know Albion's my team, but the Albion Foundation, it's all about kids with a disability, special needs. So you know, I'm in their life, I'm in my life, and if I can help to promote and give support for these kids, the support I never had when I was a kid. It just wasn't there, as you probably know. You know, as the years have gone on, the support has got better.
I always say to people, there has never been a better time to be blind.
Yeah, and so I want them to have help now. And you know, the more stupidity and these dozy challenges and all I love, and when you get to the various awards presentations for these kids, when all you hear is, well, if he can do that, I can.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, that's all I want to hear.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry, Dave, I've took your time up, mate.
Not at all, mate. I'm so sorry it took so long to get around. Anybody who watches the channel will know nothing ever goes to plan.
It happens. We get there. Patience is a virtue, and that's it.
We'll have to do this again. It'll be absolutely.
Well, thanks for taking the time to interview me. Thank you very much for getting in touch, and keep in touch. And
yeah, well, definitely I will. Yeah, it'll be a couple of weeks before this goes out, because it needs to be edited and links put in and stuff. But as soon as it's done, I'll send you a link, and you can.
Fabulous. And me being the technical idiot, I'll try my best to get on there.
Just click the link. It'll load on YouTube. It'll be fine.
Oh, okay. You say so.
Yeah, it really has been a pleasure, mate.
Lovely. Thank you, Dave. Really.
Thank you, buddy.
Really, mate. All right, mate.